pharmacist from Leicester has been jailed for 6 years for disseminating terrorist propaganda after showing a beheading video to a young child. Zamir Gumrah also asked 2 primary school-aged children if they wanted to join the Islamic State group or to help recruit others.
Oil and gas companies in the Gulf of Mexico have shut their operations as tropical storm Nate approaches. It's killed at least 24 people in Central America and damaged thousands of homes. Nate is predicted to become a hurricane by the time it hits the United States on Sunday. The mayor of New Orleans has ordered evacuations and a mandatory curfew in some parts of the city.
A 31-year-old man has been arrested in connection with the rape of a 22-year-old man in Glasgow last month. The incident happened on a lane between Parney Street and the Trongate around 3:45 in the morning on September the 24th. The man in custody is expected to appear at the city's Sheriff Court on Monday.
An inquest has concluded that a lack of maintenance of the roof of Wolverhampton's Manda shopping centre contributed to the death of a 29-year-old woman. Tani Martin from Stafford was struck on the head by a rotten wooden panel blown from its fixtures during Storm Doris in February. The Assistant Black Country Coroner will now write to UK building surveyors to raise concerns about roof inspections.
The mother of a young man who was shot dead in Croydon a year ago has called on the community to put a stop to gun and knife violence. Detectives are offering up to £20,000 for information to help catch Akeem Moore's killer. The 23-year-old was shot in the back garden of a house where he'd gone to meet a friend. His mother says he was loving, fun and caring, and that his 3 young children still ask if their father is coming back.
A 54-year-old cyclist has died after a crash involving a car in Cardiff. Police say the incident happened in the Llandaff area of the city at around 2 o'clock this afternoon. The man was taken to the University Hospital of Wales but was later pronounced dead. Officers are appealing for any witnesses.
The father of a 4-year-old girl who was knocked down in a hit-and-run accident has branded her killer's 10-day sentence extension as a joke. Violet Grace Ewens was killed in March when she was hit by a speeding stolen car in St Helens. Driver Aidan McAteer had his sentence increased for updating his social media inside prison.
3 men are in hospital after being stabbed in a fight outside a nightclub in Ipswich. Police were called to Cardinal Park just after 3 o'clock this morning. Police were called to a large fight between the Unit 17 nightclub and Cineworld. An area of Cecilia Street is cordoned off.
A high street bank has stepped in to ensure 58 young Cornish swimmers can fly out to a training camp in Fuerteventura. The group's flights were cancelled following the collapse of Monarch Airlines. The youngsters, who we featured on Spotlight earlier this week, had saved their money to join training sessions led by Olympic medalists. A Just Giving website was set up in a bid to buy new tickets. Barclays Bank has provided additional funds.
Researchers in Berkshire are predicting a bumpier ride for airline passengers in future. Computer models have predicted a steep rise in clear air turbulence. The violent air movements are invisible to radar and to the human eye. They don't pose a serious threat to planes, but can be alarming for those on board. Scientists at the University of Reading say the increase is a direct result of global warming.
Now, one of Europe's largest travelling fun fairs has returned to Hull and is opening tonight. Hull Fair attracts hundreds of thousands of people and is famous for its large rides and traditional food. For the first time this year, armed police will patrol the site.
And Middlesbrough hosts a night of international football this evening as England's under-21s play Scotland at the Riverside. Burrisdale Fry is in the England squad on his home ground. 2 years ago, teammate Ben Gibson pulled on the England shirt the last time they played on Teesside. He says it's an honour for the player and the club.
It'll be a great experience for him to represent his country at any level. Is fantastic to do that at the stadium in your hometown club will be brilliant. So I hope the fans get out and get behind him, really support him. You know, he's been fantastic for us this far this season, and he's a real talent.
Now it's approaching half-time in the football in the Women's Super League match between Chelsea and Liverpool in Kingston. And Chelsea, the league leaders, have continued their fantastic goal-scoring form at home. They have the lead through a cracking finish here from Norwegian captain Maren Mjelde. Liverpool were looking to go level on points at the top of the table with a win, but it is going Chelsea's way so far.
Now, it always feels like autumn has arrived when preparations get underway for the annual La Fête de Cidre at Hampton. Stallholders were setting up this afternoon and the apples are gathered ready to be crushed in the traditional cider barn. There'll also be plenty to do outside. Last year, there were 3,000 visitors.
The site is really huge. It spreads out into the orchard and the meadows, so we can accommodate that amount of people. And it's a really lovely atmosphere, a real sense of community. There's lots of people to meet, lots of things to learn, and lots of fun to be had, basically.
Well, let's stay on the subject of music, shall we? Because Dame Vera Lynn is on course to beat her younger rivals by claiming the best-selling album by a female artist this year. The Force's Sweetheart, who lives in Ditchling, released the album called 100 earlier this year to coincide with the 100th birthday. It features reorchestrated versions of her best-known songs.
Now finally to China, where a rare meteorite sighting was caught on camera. This dash cam footage shows what appears to be, can you see it, a fireball in the sky. Witnesses described feeling the ground shake and hearing a loud roar as the piece of space rock hit the atmosphere. NASA released its satellite observation, which described the impact of the falling asteroid as an explosive yield equivalent to 540 tons of TNT.